Hello, I'm Victor, and this is The Junkyard. You know what we all do? At some point in our lives, we will all say to ourselves, they should make blank into a live-action movie. It would be awesome to see blank adapted to the big screen. Are we all stupid? The last 2 decades have been one long lesson in why we shouldn't let Hollywood touch our favorite books, or shows, or video games, or board games, or amusement park rides, or whatever. And yet we still do it. In celebration of this fact, today we are going to look at my own personal list of the top 7 properties I would like to see adapted to the big screen, and how Hollywood will inevitably screw them up.
Number 7, Doctor Strange. What do you get if you cross Alex Trebek with Gandalf the Grey? A sorcerer who decides to shave off his trademark facial hair and ends up looking terrible for it. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite Marvel superheroes. A complex and flawed character, Strange nonetheless stands resolute as the magic guardian of his dimension, fighting evil both on Earth and in a myriad infinity of logic-defying arcane universes. Direct-to-DVD abominations aside, a movie based on this concept would rock, using computer effects to show Strange battling characters so bizarre as to be nearly abstract.
How would Hollywood screw it up? One of 2 ways. The first is that they might try to ground it more in reality, thinking that if it's too outlandish, audiences won't buy it, but in the end, just making the absurdities stand out more.
Even more likely, they'd make it an origin story. Hollywood just can't seem to get away from origins. In the comics, origin stories were usually told in around 4 pages at most. That kept it simple and didn't force people to consider how ridiculous said origins are. It shouldn't be the focus of entire freaking films. Number 6, Planetary, or pretty much anything else by Warren Ellis.
Damn, this guy can tell some stories.
Planetary again has great characters, and a story that basically takes conspiracy mystery thriller and puts it in a world of superheroes, vigilantes, monsters, and ghosts. It's full of references to popular fiction, both new and old. It manages to be funny and cool without taking away from the seriousness of the story. And most of his work carries those same qualities. How would Hollywood screw it up? Dumbing downs. Some of the characters and concepts were created with the assumption that the reader can grasp some level of complexity. Hollywood, motivated basically by fear and greed, wouldn't take that chance. Did the hero's actions seem a bit brutal here? Let's tone that down. Is that woman's attitude a bit cold? We should give her more of a girl power feel. Do you think people will understand that this guy can sense information on a conceptual level? Let's just make him a techie.
We've all seen it.
Number 5, Ramses the Damned. This is my favorite of Anne Rice's works. It's not about vampires, it's about mummies. It's an adventurous romantic drama about the perils of immortality. And when I say immortality, I mean the main character can not die, despite numerous attempts.
He starts a romance with a modern woman, and things get complicated. He then kind of resurrects his dead ex-girlfriend in a fit of stupid, and things get even more complicated. Normally, I don't go for romantic dramas, but there's enough in here to draw me in.
How would Hollywood screw it up? They'd either compensate for the less action-oriented storyline by getting the biggest-name stars to play the roles, irregardless of true acting skill, or they'd amp up the action like crazy. Number 4, Dr. Mcninja. Well, I know the theater's being flooded by movies based on webcomics right now, but I still think Mcninja deserves a shot. Basic premise, a doctor from a family of ninjas must face a variety of weird threats in an oddly jaded world, while dealing with a psyche split between the desire to heal and the desire to kill. Also, he has a sidekick with a handlebar mustache and a pet velociraptor. I want to see this on film.
How would Hollywood screw it up? By attempting to make it funny.
Putting gags in place of humor. I also think this would be one of those films that they have trouble making trailers for. They always try to fit the films they're advertising into a niche. Where do you put Dr. Mcninja? Number 3, Hack Slash.
Well, according to IMDb, this one is apparently in development, so I'll just call this an endorsement.
Hack Slash is a comic that takes the basic undead slasher hunts down and kills hot college-age women premise and turns it on its head. Hot college-age woman hunts down undead slashers. The characters are complex, with good chemistry, and the enemies are entertainingly creepy. It's heavy on the TNA, but I can roll with that if it's mixed into something clever. How would Hollywood screw it up? Well, if there's one thing Hollywood sucks at, it's heroines. No one really knows how to handle the idea of a heroic female, since it doesn't fit comfortably into any pre-existing niches.
Add some depth and character flaws, and you've got studio executives curled up in the fetal position hiding behind a couch.
Number 2, Wonderella. Another webcomic-based idea and another chapter in the Hollywood Can't Do Women story. In a world full of Superman clones and parodies, Wonderella is one of a rare and hilarious breed of Wonder Woman parodies. Hard-drinking, swearing, insecure, and apathetic, she could be described as a female Hancock if you removed his innate goodness and replaced it with mother issues. In the long, sad history of superhero parodies, this one has some potential. How would Hollywood screw it up?
Well, besides the aforementioned long, sad history, and my complete lack of faith in Hollywood to do comedy right, it should also be noted that the only thing harder for Hollywood than heroines is anti-heroines.
And number 1, Karnaki, the Ghost Finder. Honestly, how did the ghost hunter craze fly by without this film being made? Karnaki was a steampunk ghost hunter before steampunk was a retro concept. William Hope Hodgson's Karnaki stories were spooky and fun, featuring an eccentric ghost hunter using his knowledge of both science and magic to investigate and deal with various hauntings. An interesting aspect of this gimmick was the fact that he didn't always find real ghosts. Sometimes it was human meddling.
The individual stories might be a bit too short to make an entire film out of, but the concept should work.
How would Hollywood screw it up? Another thing Hollywood sucks at is steampunk. Karnaki had a few items that, against a period backdrop, would look awesome, but Hollywood would inevitably feel the need to deck him out in a full arsenal of anachronistic gizmos and one-liners.
You know, part of me actually hopes that a studio executive will watch this video and come away with it with a few good movie ideas. However, no part of me is stupid enough to hope that they will have paid attention to the part where I explained how not to screw them up. Well, this has been Victor with the Junkyard. Thanks for watching and have a good day.
This summer, Megan Fox, Cedric the Entertainer, and Hayden Christensen star in Karnaki, Ghost Hunter. Alright guys, time to take out the trash. A Michael Bay film.